Someone recently posted on the YouTube channel, how do I bring about more justice in my life? Everywhere I seem to turn, I seem to be dealing with injustice. And I told the person, I said, listen, if you want to bring about justice, don't seek justice, as it were, but seek peace. The thing is, when we're seeking justice, then what we're saying is that there's an injustice taking place. What happens is it begins to reproduce more injustice. And I explained to them recently, I found this fraudulent charge on my credit card. And so, of course, I dealt with it, but I had put so much energy into it that all of a sudden I received another fraudulent charge on my credit card. I had to forgive that energy. I had to let go of that energy as opposed to trying to struggle against the fraud. And of course, I did everything I needed to do to resolve the issue, and both issues were resolved. I realized that I was holding negative energy concerning the charge. I was about ready to create a campaign. I was about ready to go viral because I was so upset with the company in question. Why do I tell you this? Whatever you're giving your attention to is naturally going to expand. Someone recently in the Facebook group had experienced a loss in a relationship. And in that year of that loss, she says, nobody has approached me to be in another relationship, and I thought that nature abhorred a vacuum. It absolutely does, and it will fill that vacuum or that void with something. But if the only thing that you're sending out is the hurt of that previous relationship, and you don't allow yourself to go through the healing process, then of course, only thing you're going to experience is more of the hurt. And if we're not careful, we'll bring that hurt into our next relationship, into our next relationship, into our next relationship. And our question will be, why is this happening to me again? Going back to the initial talking point about the person that was experiencing injustice, I told the person experiencing injustice to seek peace at whatever cost. Even when you encounter relationships and situations, whether it be in your relationships, your workplace, wherever you're experiencing this so-called injustice, enter it knowing that the universe has your back and that all things are working together for your good. Expect the best possible outcome. Take into that situation peace of mind, love energy, and resolution, knowing that the situation will be resolved. When you take that type of energy and you know that God has your back, and you enter the situation knowing God has your back and that all things work together for your good, then you're going to take a different dynamics. What this doesn't mean is that you don't do anything. I had to go through the process with both of the companies and the credit card transaction to get those things resolved. But I took a different energy, and I took an energy of peace. And the people that helped me resolve the issue with the companies, I thank them profusely. So I was taking into those situations now an attitude of gratitude. I had determined no matter how those situations turned out, I was not going to allow them to move me. I would do the next best thing that I knew to do. And that was the energy that I brought into those relationships. But I knew that God had my back. When I was struggling and feeling like it was just me, as it were, and I had to figure this out, I was warring in the situation. I was fighting. I was going to make this thing right. But the only thing that I started to do was reproduce more of it being wrong and more situations to be wrong. If you're coming from a state of injustice, then everything will begin to appear to be injustice towards you. It's like having the attitude of offense. When a person looks to be offended, offense is around every corner. I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, and me and a guy had talked about going out. This guy was one of the nicest guys you would ever meet until we went out one evening. After a few drinks, I realized that this guy had the propensity to get violent. And we're in Egypt. So understand this, Egyptians are not small people. And this guy was probably about 5'9", 5'10" at best. And he's seeking out a fight. I wanted to go out and have a good time. I wasn't seeking out a fight. I acted as the diffuser. But I realized with that person that I could no longer go out with that person because of the energy that that person was carrying. About a year after that event, this person was rolled up on what we call office hours. And this basically means that there's punishment. Sometimes you'll lose a stripe, you'll lose money or whatever based off of behavior. And his behavior continued on after that night that he and I went out. But like I said, to see him apart from drinking, he was the nicest guy. But when he started to drink, he sought a fight. What you'll discover is that when you're seeking a fight will you find. If you're seeking justice, as it were, you're not going to find justice because in your seeking justice, it tells me that you're feeling that there's injustice. Now, we may say the word justice as opposed, but the question is, how do we feel? And a lot of times we feel like the victim in those situations. When I took off my badge of victimization and I began walking in my power, knowing that it was going to work out on my behalf, in my favor, and I released the results to the universe. And again, what I'm not saying is don't do anything. I'm saying when you're doing it, do it with the right attitude and the right energy. First and foremost, come from a place of love, knowing that the problem has already been resolved. You're just going through the motions and allowing universe to fulfill, as it were, the bridge of incident. Understand this. Every situation, you're taking some type of energy into that situation. If the energy is not taking you where you want to go, then you need to be mindful and shift your energy, because that energy is going to reproduce after its kind. It can't do otherwise, whether it be in relationships, whether it be in the work environment, whether it be with money, whether it be with your health. Whatever energy you're taking into that situation, that's what you're going to reproduce in that situation. So it's important. Now you say, well, Coach, well, what do I do about these people seemingly taking advantage of me? What you do is go about seeking a peaceful resolution. A lot of times, these things happen because of energy or dynamics that we bring to it. I remember one of my coaching clients years ago, every job that she would find herself in, she was in conflict. And when she discovered peace within herself, the conflict ceased. And all of a sudden, she started getting promoted. She started getting more opportunities. But this was because she changed her attitude first, and the world without begun to mirror her attitude. So just be mindful, creators, what you're taking into the situation. Now, sometimes we're so close to the situation that we can't see ourselves. It may require that you speak to a trusted friend or somebody that you can confide in and say, listen, do I need to check my attitude? Is my attitude appropriate? Is there something that I'm bringing to the situation that may be causing me to experience these events time and time again? You know, often we say, why is this happening to me again? And the reason is because we keep bringing ourselves to the party. If you bring yourself to the party with a certain expectation, life is going to say, be it unto you according to your belief. Or in the proverbial Latin, in the lamp, your wish is my command. But remember this, creators, that only you can create your perfect world. Not God or man. Only you can create your perfect world. This is Coach DeCarlo saying have a great and abundant day.